We have become a planet of performers. We stand on a stage that has no exits and no curtains. Every move we make is scrutinized. Every mistake is recorded. Every stumble is whispered about in the dark. We live with the constant nagging feeling that we are being judged, not for who we are, but for how well we play our part. I know the weight of those eyes. I know the pressure of the workplace where they wait for you to slip, where your successes are expected and your failures are entertainment, where they smile to your face and sharpen their knives behind your back. I know the sting of the digital comments that treat your soul like a target, the strangers who feel entitled to judge your entire existence based on a single post, a single photo, a single moment taken out of context. I know the isolation of being an idol in your own circle, expected to be perfect, expected to be happy, expected to be bulletproof, where any sign of struggle is seen as weakness, where vulnerability is punished. In the Stillness Smithy, we look at the spectators. We see them for what they truly are. Travelers standing outside the window of the forge, shouting advice at a smith they don't understand. They have never felt the heat. They have never held the hammer. They have never stayed up all night trying to perfect a single edge. And yet, they feel entitled to judge the blade. Why does it feel like they want you to fail? Because your fire reminds them of their own cold hearths. Your discipline highlights their own lack of it. Your courage to try exposes their own fear of starting. Your willingness to struggle publicly makes their quiet surrender look like exactly what it is: giving up. Your attempt to forge a masterpiece makes their decorative lives look exactly like what they are: hollow. Most critics are not looking for your flaws to help you. They are not offering feedback because they care about your growth. They are not pointing out your mistakes because they want you to improve. They are looking for your cracks to justify their own stagnation. They need you to fail, because if you succeed, they have to face the uncomfortable truth that they could have tried too. That their excuses were just excuses. That the only thing standing between them and their own masterpiece was them. When you internalize their voices, you are letting the cold air of the world into your furnace. You stop looking at the iron. You start looking at the window. You begin to ask, what will they think? Will they approve? Will they praise me? Will they finally respect me? You begin to strike the metal, not for the edge, but for the applause. And that is when the soul of the blade dies. You become a slave to a crowd that will forget your name the moment the lights go out. The master smith knows a secret about the audience. The window is optional. You do not have to let them watch. You do not have to perform. You do not have to justify your process or defend your vision. Sovereignty is the power to close the shutters. It is the realization that the only opinion that can change the molecular structure of the steel is the smith's. If you are feeling like giving up because the critics are too loud, if their voices have become louder than your own, it is because you have given them a seat at your anvil. You have allowed their noise to become your internal narrative. You have let strangers who know nothing about your journey dictate how you feel about your progress. Mastery requires a specific kind of deafness, not the inability to hear, but the discipline to filter. It is the ability to hear the rhythm of your own heart over the shouting of the street, to distinguish between the voice of wisdom and the voice of envy, to know the difference between constructive feedback and destructive noise. It is the courage to be wrong in their eyes, so you can be right in the forge. Every time you ignore a bully, every time you refuse to engage with someone who is only trying to drag you down, you are protecting your ember. Every time you choose your vision over their good advice, their unsolicited opinions, their projections of their own limitations, you are hardening your armor. You are proving that their words cannot penetrate the steel you are becoming. This is part 3 of The Last Embers. In part 1, we protected the ember. In part 2, we escaped the cage of expectations. Today, we are silencing the critics. The extraction continues by identifying the noise. You are not failing because they say you are. You are only failing if you let their words extinguish your ember. Stop performing for people who want to see you burn out. Stop seeking validation from people who are threatened by your light. Stop giving energy to voices that have never built anything themselves. The smithy is a private sanctuary. The work is the only witness that matters. The blade does not ask the spectator if it is sharp. It proves it when the moment comes. Tonight, before you sleep, close the mental windows. Audit the voices that entered your forge today. Whose opinion did you allow to shape your day? Whose judgment did you internalize? Whose criticism did you replay over and over in your mind? Was it the voice of a master? Someone who has been where you're trying to go? Someone who has built what you're trying to build? Someone who actually cares about your growth? Or was it just the noise of a traveler? Someone standing outside the forge with no experience, no credentials, no skin in the game, just opinions. Close the shutters on the travelers. Let them shout into the void. Their voices have no power unless you give it to them. One day, time will leave you. Make sure it leaves, knowing you didn't forge your life to please a crowd that never cared. Make sure it leaves, knowing you closed the windows. You silenced the noise. You built your blade in the privacy of your own conviction. Make sure it leaves, knowing you were the only judge of your own strike. This is part 3. The critics are silenced. In part 4, we face the deepest wound, betrayal. Welcome back to the Forge.